Well, today we'll take a look at this interesting accessory for the electronics workshop. It's a module you can add to any power supply to turn it into a bench power supply. You can power it with a power bank, a power delivery charger, or any power supply, and turn this module into a bench power supply with excellent features and protections, which I'll show you during this video. This module is not a power supply by itself. It needs to be powered by an external source, as I mentioned before. The model is the DPS150. The number indicates the maximum power it can handle. This module can handle up to 150 watts. That's why it's called the DPS150, right? This is the presentation box. It comes perfectly packed in foam rubber. On top, we find the user manual in color in Chinese and English. No Spanish at all.
All
right. Here we have the module in its little bag, and underneath we find the connection cables. They're very flexible cables, good quality. They're thick. Very pliable. They have a good alligator clip. It's not one of those hard, stiff ones. The clip is good, this one. It connects to the module using a banana plug. On the other hand, we also have a USB cable that is used to connect the module to the PC in case you want to change the firmware. Good. We take the module out of the bag. As you can see, the materials are of very good quality. The design is very refined. It has a 2.8-inch screen with an adjustable angle. The control buttons are on the top. Here on the front, there's a little wheel to adjust the settings, and the output terminals are here. On the right side, we have the power button. And on the back, we find the place where it connects to the external power source, which can be plugged in two different ways. Either through a USB Type-C cable or the traditional barrel connector. And it also has a selector switch, depending on which way we're going to power it. There's also another output here, which is the one I mentioned before that can be connected to a computer, right? So we connect it here to the computer. As you can see, if we press the power button like this with just the bare module, not connected to anything, nothing happens. It doesn't turn on. It doesn't have its own power supply. We need to power it externally. The power source used for this purpose should not exceed 30 volts. I'm going to power it with a 24-volt 5-amp power supply. It has a conventional barrel-type connector. We connect it, and you can see the screen turns on, showing the input voltage. In this case, 24 volts, but the module is still off. You can see it says stop here in red. Notice that the switch on the back is set to the DC side. When we power it with this type of connector, we have to set the switch to this position. Now I'm going to disconnect this power supply and power it with a cell phone charger that provides 12 volts at 1.85 amps. For that, I have to set the switch to the PD position, and here we connect it. And the power also appears, but in this case, notice that it's showing 12 volts, which is the power supplied by the charger. All right, to turn it on, we briefly press the power button, and you'll see that RAM appears in green on the screen, as well as the output connectors, and the power button lights up. It also shows us the voltage that the power supply is currently set to. The current is at 0, obviously, because there is no load connected. The power is also at 0 for the same reason. No load means no consumption, right? On the right side of the screen are the time and energy data showing what we've consumed while the power supply is on. I think this is useful for when we use, for example, a power bank to keep track of the energy we've been using. Below we have the lock button. Well, it activates when we hold down the power button for a few seconds. See, when I press it for a few seconds, a little lock appears and it doesn't let you do anything else. At that point, you're done. If you touch anything, a red message pops up that won't let you change anything because the module is locked. To unlock it, you do it the same way. We press the power button for a few seconds and unlock it again. Now we can touch it. Next, we have the memory slots. It has 6 memory slots. But by pressing M, the menu appears for us to configure it. So, with the arrows and the little wheel, we set the value we want. And by pressing M for a few seconds, it will be saved. It has 6 memory slots, as I told you before. And, well, it's good because we can save the voltages we normally use there, right? 3.3 volts, 3.3 V, 5 V, 12 V, good. Whatever works for you, right? You can also program the current. And also, by pressing the arrows, we can change the parameters directly. That is, when we already have it in a memory slot and, well, we say, okay, I want to change the voltage. Directly with the little arrows we press, and with the little wheel we change and adjust the voltage and the current. All right, by pressing the home button, which is here on the side, we have the protection system parameters. This power supply, this module is protected in several ways. For example, the first one tells us the maximum input supply we can feed into it. In this case, it's set to 30 volts. According to the manual, it can be powered up to 32, but from the factory, it comes set at 30. Let's leave it at 30. You shouldn't give it more. If you give it more, the module will immediately lock up and shut down. There, we can also change it using the arrows however you want. And, well, all these values it has are the factory settings. Then in system, we have the language. And, well, there are only 2 languages available: Mandarin and English. Screen brightness, volume. Well, and finally, we have the About menu, and, well, it shows us the version. FNIRSI model. DPS150 version 1. If we want, we can change the firmware by connecting to the PC through the port on the back. It has protection against overvoltage, overcurrent, short circuit, and over temperature. This is good. Notice that here at the top we find a temperature reading. Well, that temperature is the temperature inside the module. Do you remember that when we looked at the protection parameters, there was a temperature that was set to 80? If the module reaches extreme temperatures of 80 degrees, if it goes beyond that, the module will automatically stop. It will lock itself. It also has protection against supply voltages lower than what the module needs, which is 5 volts, right? If we try to power it with a lower voltage source, it will shut down. All right, let's do some tests. We're going to connect some wires and power a light bulb that draws a fair amount of power. And we're also going to check the stability using another precision voltmeter, a name brand one. We can see that it matches very well. It's a perfect match. We change the voltage, look at the stability, it's very good. The temperature it shows, as I already told you, is the module's temperature. Right now it's low, but as we use it, that temperature could go up, right? The module is a real gem. I like it a lot. For now, it's on sale. If you go to the AliExpress page, which I'll leave for you in the shopping link below, you'll see that it's on sale until the 27th at 12 o'clock a.m. August 27th. So you can take advantage if you're interested. It's really good. It's a product that isn't very expensive and has excellent features, excellent protections, I would say as well. Some things that guarantee us that we're not going to burn out the power supply or anything like that, right? Well, I hope the review was helpful for you. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell. I'm uploading tech product reviews every Tuesday. Well, this kind of equipment. I also have some phones that are for military use. I also have several reviews of cutters and laser printers. So if you're interested in reviews of those products, remember that on Tuesdays, I'm doing one of those, and as usual, on Fridays, uploading the channel's usual video with the experiments, with the projects, and all those things. Thank you very much for watching the video, and until next time, God willing,